We are live with Lindsay first because I have to actually read this because it's so long. She's got a crazy intro. But you can check her out on Instagram at Training Lindsay.
That's okay.
Okay, so this is Lindsay Morrison. She's a wife. She's a dog and cat mom, which we have the dog here. She's a philanthropist, and the reason I say that is because I've never seen a young person that has dedicated their life to a cause and helps other people by fundraising to meet their causes and their goals. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but that's why I call her philanthropist, because not many people dedicate their time and their life to helping other people. So she's on, I can't even get started. She is our local HDS. And can you tell them what that is?
Yes, Huntington's Disease Society of America. I'm on the local chapter of that national organization.
And how big is that national organization before we go?
So HDSA stands for Huntington's Disease Society of America. So Huntington's disease affects 1 in 10,000 people. So we're across the country. I think we have a total of 38 chapters and affiliates across the country. So one in almost every state. For being kind of a lesser known disease, that's pretty great. So our chapters are one of the bigger chapters. We do a good amount of fundraising, but all things considered, it is a lesser known disease, but we do help a lot of people kind of in the tri-state area.
I don't think I really found out about it until you started talking about it so much.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to go later.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Let's finish the intro.
We'll get there.
See, I'm not even through it yet. And she attends the camp every year, which you just came back from.
Yes.
Not so long ago.
So that camp is put on by the HDO, which is the Huntington's Disease Youth Organization, which is actually an international global organization. Separately, I'm also on their board, and that's why I'm going to Vienna next week. I'm going to go with them on 2 weeks.
Where are you going?
Vienna, Austria. Not like Vienna, Ohio, not Vienna, Kentucky. Vienna, Austria, for an HD conference.
Penny thinks it's crazy. I think it's crazy.
So I'm on 2 boards. Yes. An international board and a local board.
Oh my gosh. So that's just the start of it. She's the owner of this beautiful boutique, which I'm going to take the phone off and take you on a tour of in a little bit. She has her own LuLaRoe. You've been 3 years.
3 years, just over 3 years. Go lay down, Penny.
She retired from nursing, and that's where I met Lindsay, was nursing at 28, which totally blew my mind when she posted that she was retiring, and that's how I ended up getting back in touch with her.
Yeah.
Because she was retiring, I wanted to know what she was doing, because I'm that kind of girl. I'm like, all right, what are you doing so you can retire at 28? Because I'm almost 50 and I'm not retired. And she's reinvented herself multiple times. She reinvented herself with her career. She has lost over 100 pounds, and she is very open about that journey. You can follow her on Instagram and find out more. We'll talk a little bit about it, but she's very open about that journey. But she has worked her patukas off in a lot of ways, and so recently you ran 2 half marathons, but how many have you done totally?
I've done, that will be my 14th half marathon, not including training runs, because I've run 4 full marathons. I'm training for my 5th. I'm doing the Chicago Marathon the first weekend of October. So
you see why I brought her on? You see, we haven't even gotten through the intro yet, and I'm already like, okay, like wait a minute, there can't be anything else. But I can tell you, I met Lindsay, and she probably, one thing that I notice in life is you never know who's watching you, and your character shines through when you least expect it. And Lindsay didn't know, like I didn't know Lindsay from Adam. I was in a nurse practitioner school, and I was doing my clinicals in the ICU, and Lindsay was a nurse there. But something about her, she was always like very organized. She always seemed very focused, and she was always talking about like the future. And she was making plans at that time to go either to CNRNA school, which is nurse anesthetist, or physician's assistant school, and she was talking about it, and I would see her all the time in there. She had this organizer. I think this thing really caught my eye. She had this organizer that was like this thick, had pictures on the front. It was like all organized and perfect. I was like, when I grow up, I want to be her. Like,
and the next thing you know, my whole unit had these planners. Like everyone had the planner.
God, she was the coolest. And so I didn't know how old she was then. Like she was like so mature. Like I couldn't even tell like anything. So we didn't like see each other again.
For a couple of years,
for
probably.
A couple of years.
Like, once we're done with clinicals and...
Yeah, I went back to, like, life, and I never became a nurse practitioner because I didn't want to work that hard. I wanted to enjoy my life.
Reinvent yourself. That's what we're here.
So I reinvented myself again.
Yes.
So, we met up several years later, and Lindsay had started this boutique, and Lindsay was retiring from nursing. And when I found that she had retired, I was like, well, I got to do what she's doing because she's retired. Like, it's got to work for her. It didn't quite work for me. It just wasn't for me. But one thing I learned that I was super excited about with it was like I loved the interaction with the women. So that's what brought me to this. And oh yeah, I do have to do one quick shout out.
Oh, you guys know.
Anyway, but so back to us. So anyway, so when I joined LuLaRoe, one of the things I loved, that's the thing I loved, that was meeting the women and interacting with them and talking with them and hearing their stories. Like I really learned so much about women, and I saw that need there for like an outlet. So
that's
there
why we're
came the
here
Sweet
now,
Life.
right? I love it.
But Lindsay has turned this into something crazy. We'll see that later. So we were just talking before because we were talking about like all the things she's done and what led up to it and how she's always been athletic and always been doing stuff, had other businesses. It seems like you've always been driven. What makes you different from other? How old are you anyway?
So I'm 30 now. I turned 30 last October, so I'll be 31 in a few months. But I feel like, so, you know, it kind of ties back to the whole part of the philanthropy part. So my dad had Huntington's disease. He passed away 3.5 years ago. My mom has multiple sclerosis. They were divorced. I was their only child. So, you know, they both remarried, amazing people, and I'm super, super, super thankful. I have the best step parents ever. Without them, I would have never been able to, you know, who knows if I would have even graduated high school, to be honest, because I would have been the only one taking care of both my parents. So, you know, growing up, I feel like, you know, everybody always said, you know, you're so mature for your age, like you know, but because I kind of had to be. Like, I feel like I kind of told everybody, you know, I feel like I've been an adult since I was 5 years old. I washed my laundry, I did really well in school, I packed my lunch every day. Like I kind of took care of myself, and I kind of took care of everybody else around me. So it kind of forces you to grow up fast. And so I felt like, you know, I had opportunities out there, and I had a really supportive family, and my grandma was always great about making sure I got to go do things and see things, and that I was going to go to college, and I was going to, any opportunity that presented itself, she wanted to make sure I was able to do. So, you know, things weren't easy. We didn't grow up with a lot, but I always had what I needed, and I just thought that, you know, I saw that there was so much out there to do, and I never wanted to miss any of it. So that's kind of like, yeah.
Wow. Oh
we didn't really we didn't get family vacations. We didn't get to do a whole lot. My parents both stopped working the year I was in 8th grade. So they both went on disability and weren't working. My dad was in his 40s. My mom was in her late 30s. And I was just like, I don't want that. You know, there's so much to life that they're missing out on. I never want to miss out on anything. So
many people don't do that. Like, so many people would take that same story, am I right? We probably know people like this, and turn it completely around, and then they're the victim, and they can't do anything because their mom wasn't around, their dad wasn't around, their mom was sick, their dad, you know, but you didn't. Like, you totally did.
Yeah.
And speaking of your dad, the Huntington's disease.
Yes.
Like, you, have taken on such a role.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking today, actually, when I was sitting, like, right before he came, I was just kind of thinking, because my mom has a neurologic disorder, and it's degenerative, and there's no treatment for it. And I was actually in my kitchen, which I was like, I wonder if I'll be like Lindsay.
Oh.
Will I be a big part of, like, fundraising and stuff? I'm like, I don't feel like I will be, but maybe everybody
I'm a small fish, but I just know that there's so much more out there and so much more awareness and stuff like that. This dog loves her. There's so much more awareness for all of these diseases with social media and the internet, and I'm just like, what are the strengths that I have? Like, what can I use to have a voice? Because I went to my very first Huntington's disease convention when I was a freshman in high school, and I was one of like 10 young people in the room. Like, and I was like, there's nothing here for us. So that kind of group and we kind of were the beginnings of what's now the National Youth Alliance, which is an umbrella of the HDSA, the national thing, where they recognize there's a need for stuff for young people, because young people are the caregivers. They caregive for their parents. They're the ones at home while their other parent is working and helping to take care of their affected parent or affected sibling, and they worry about genetic testing and all of those things, and just being a teenager, being a kid, and so there's just so much more than that. So it's become a huge part of the HDSA now, but it didn't exist when I was younger. So just having those forms of support in the HDO, I've got friends that were part of that movement, and it became international. It's a whole youth organization for young people by young people to help globally. You know, we're all in this fight together. So it's just because it's become a bigger thing. I don't think I had so much to do with it, but what I can do is serve on the board, help fundraise, help bring awareness, help run the social media and events.
Penny is
I have
going
lotion
to
on my
town.
legs, so my dog is licking my legs right now.
Penny, you're ruining our moment.
It's fine. But so I just want to be involved as much as I can, just because that platform is there, social media is
And that's
out there.
totally in your heart. Like, that's something I feel like that's totally in your heart.
Yeah.
And I mean, was your dad like were your parents like that? Were they like that, driven in doing things?
No.
Because like like you have so much of that in you.
Yeah, I feel like I was like born with an Energizer Bunny amount of energy. I feel like you. I feel like we both never stop, and I feel like I needed to use that. I don't do well just sitting still. And I thought, and I went into nursing because I grew up taking care of everybody, and that's what I thought I was supposed to do.
Wow.
So I use all this energy. I'm taking care of everybody. I know how to, change a diaper, and put somebody on a bedpan and clean a wound and give them meds and all this kind of stuff.
Does.
So I just thought that it was what I was supposed to do, and they weren't like that. They stopped working. My mom kind of shut down and has kind of like not left the house in a lot of years. Just kind of used her illness not to her advantage. I don't want to say advantage, but I'm sick, I can't do this. I'm sick, I can't do
You're like
that.
living so much life.
And I don't want to, and I wanted to be the opposite of that. My mom and I now at this point, we don't have a great relationship, but she's always my mom. And so, I use that, and I think about her and kind of the way she views the world, and that's not how I want to view it. So, that's one of those things that's a choice. That is a choice that you have. You don't have a lot of choices in a lot of things, but you do have some choices. What's my dog doing with your stuff?
Oh, Penny's over here playing with my
The water
bottle.
bottle. Sorry about that.
It's okay, because Penny's part of the family. So
Yes.
if there were kids here, but this is the kid.
Exactly.
This is the kid. That is such a great story. Like, that just really, I don't know, that just touches my heart. Like, I don't, like I said, I hear some people use excuses every day. I hear it all the time, and I think that's one of the reasons I started this platform, was because I kept hearing people use excuses on what they couldn't do, why they couldn't do it. And then I see people like you who didn't start off with like all the advantages of life, but you just made life work for you.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So let's move on to the weight loss.
No, they will.
Because I think, a lot of people want to hear about that and like how you retired.
Yes.
But so I'll let you tell about your journey, because I know some of it, but I don't know all of it.
So I'd always been a heavier girl. My whole family, my dad's side, they're all heavier people. I grew up, everything involved food. Every celebration, every loss, everything involved food, and I think that's the same for a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of great coping skills, and so food kind of was my outlet. I think sugar is a drug, and lights up that part of your brain, and I, to this day, still consider myself a binge eater, and if I am not really careful, I can head down that path. So I had gotten up to about 245 pounds, and
Yes.
Penny's like, yes, you did, Mom. And I was a nurse in the operating room doing open heart surgery, and I'm looking at my patient on the table in their early 40s, and I'm going, that is what's going to happen to me if I don't change my life right now. Like I don't know why that patient specifically resonated with me, but I remember there was a day I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I had done a half marathon, just kind of walked it. Like, I completed it. I grew up playing softball. I grew up as a cheerleader. I grew up in the marching band. I've played basketball. I've kind of dabbled in all the things, and I was always fairly athletic growing up. Playing football in the front yard with all the boys. Being crushing them with all my neighbor boys, but in my neighborhood. But I was like, I got to do something. So I decided I was going to start running again and kind of taking care of myself. And I'm going to text Kyle and get him to come get
We're going to get Dad to come get the child.
Yes.
Because the child is
being bad.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't like our conversation. Oh, God. I don't think Penny's happy with me right now.
So I had always been an athlete, but I was like really heavy, and I was like, I gotta get control of this. I mean, I would go to work, I would leave work. I was an OR nurse. I was a Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30 kind of girl. So I would leave work. I would go to Wendy's, and I would get like a 10-piece nugget meal with a large Diet Coke, and I would down it before I would get home. I would hide the trash, and I would go get the mail, act like I never ate it, then go inside and eat dinner as if I had not done anything. Wow. I mean, it was really
totally
I was hiding food. I would literally have to put my purse in the trunk of my car, so I didn't have my money. to go through a drive-through and get food. Like, I thought about what my next meal was all day, every day, was the next time I was going to eat. Like, that's all, I consumed my thoughts. Wow. And so I was like, I got to do something about this. So I kind of got, like, I worked with several different trainers, like the bro trainers, like drinking 2 protein shakes and carrying around gallons of water, and prepped like 4 ounces of chicken that was cold that I cooked up, you know, just craziness, like not sustainable at all. But I mean, I lost some weight. I kind of got right around 200 when we got married. I was excited. I saw like 290, like 199 for like a hot second. I was like, yes, I've made it. And we got married. I kind of sat around the 200, 220 mark. I'm only 5'4", so I'll just kind of put that out there. And then my dad died. And, you know, when my dad was sick for over 20 years, and it was one of those things, he's in a nursing home for a really long time, and I knew he was suffering, and, you know, it's one of those things where you never want it to happen, but when it does, you know, I'm ready for that. I've been ready for it for years. I know it'll be better for him, but when it actually happened, it wasn't, I didn't react how I thought I would prepare myself to react. You know, knowing he was sick for that long, I've really got depressed. I had a hard time getting off the couch. I didn't go to work for 3 weeks. I mean, I was just beside myself. I just didn't know. I was just numb. I just didn't know what to do. And next thing I know, within 6 months of that, I was 274 pounds. I gained like 60, 70 pounds after he passed away. And I knew how hard it was the first time. And then kind of once I realized, like, oh my God, what have I done to myself? My knees hurt. I felt terrible. I was short of breath. I was just like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start at this point. The first time's always hard. I think the second time around in that journey is even harder. Like, when you know how much work it was the first time, and then you've completely derailed, it's even harder with further to go. So I had a couple friends that had pursued weight loss surgery, and I was that person that judged. I've not always been perfect, and I judged people so hard. I said, oh, that must be the easy way out. That must be nice to just have surgery and just be the easy way out. I didn't know. So I had friends that pursued weight loss surgery. They had great success. They looked amazing. They felt wonderful. And so I started asking them questions. And if it weren't for those people who told me what this is really like, what life on the other side of weight loss surgery really looks like, I would have had no idea. So I had the gastric sleeve surgery in January 2016, and I've lost 135 pounds in that process.
But to stop there, I didn't just
have surgery and lose weight.
She didn't just have surgery. No. What have you done?
So 6 weeks post-op, I got cleared to work out. So from that day, I said, I'm going to use this tool that I have, and I'm going to do everything I can. So, for example, with any kind of weight loss surgery, you're not supposed to have anything carbonated. So I can't have a Diet Coke ever again.
You know, that's how I started drinking sparkling water. Was at your house when I came here, and it was in your refrigerator.
The LaCroix?
The LaCroix.
Sorry, because I can't have it.
You couldn't have it.
Can't have it. I can't eat and drink within 30 minutes of each other for the rest of my life. I can't. I have to think about how much protein I've eaten, and protein is my most important thing because my stomach's only so big, and protein, you know, is your building blocks of everything. So protein and water are my most important goals of every day, even over 2.5 years out now. So 6 weeks starting out post-op, I had signed up for an Orange Theory. They were doing pre-sales. They weren't even open yet. It was like I was having surgery in January, and I saw them setting up like November, December, right by Target, my favorite place.
I know.
And I was like, I should check this out. I had done CrossFit, and when my dad died the last week of the CrossFit Open, I had joined CrossFit in December right before we got married. I had a Groupon, and I was like, I want to try this CrossFit thing, and I loved it. I loved lifting heavy weights. Like, I loved the gym environment. It seemed like a real community. And the last week of the CrossFit Open, my dad died on Tuesday, and I decided that year I was like, if I'm doing it, and you'll know this about me, if I do anything, I don't have to do it. Why run a 5K when I can run a marathon? Why do this when I can do that? Like, it's kind of.
You see why I love her? Like, I'm telling you,
it's almost to a fault.
She's like young, and she's like already but
it's not always the best way to go, but that's kind of how I am. I'm all or nothing is basically what I'm saying. So I went to CrossFit. I finished the last CrossFit Open workout. I didn't even know. Sometimes they would have to show me the moves that we were doing for the workout before because I hadn't even learned them yet. And so I finished the open workout. It was like the toughest workout. And 2 people at the gym knew that my dad had died that week, but not everybody. And I finished the workout, and I just laid on the floor and cried. And everybody's like, you did it. You're done. You did the workout. And I was like, no, like, like I'm done.
Wow.
Like I'm done. And that was the last day I walked into the gym, and I didn't walk into the gym for almost exactly a year to the date. Like March was my 6 weeks post-op in March, so it was almost a year to the date that between workouts, like the time I had worked out. So I reached out to someone at the gym, and I was like, hey, I've gone through this stuff. I gained a bunch of weight. I just had surgery. Once I'm clear, like I want to come back to the gym. And they looked at the message and didn't respond. So I was like, okay, I need to look for something else.
That wasn't the place for you.
So I found Orange Theory and signed up for their pre-sale table. They called me the week I got cleared to work out and said, hey, we're opening next week. What classes do you want to sign up for? And I was like, the first one. Like,
what year
let's
was
do
that?
it. March of 2015.
Okay.
I had surgery in January, and this was March. So I started going to classes at 5 a.m. before I would go to the hospital, like a couple of days a week. I was on the unlimited plan. I would try to, nurses work crazy schedules, so some weeks I'd go 4 or 5 times, some weeks I'd make it in twice, just kind of whenever. But I like fell in love with Orange Theory, and I started as a power walker. I still loved the heavy weights on the weight rack. Rowing was completely new concept to me because like CrossFit uses a rower, but it's not a walk. It's a different kind of rower.
It's a different kind
and I like fell in love with the energy and the music, and the coaches were awesome, and I was like, I feel like I belong here. So between having the surgery and as a tool to lose weight and then consistently working out, I was shrinking. I mean, I didn't recognize myself at all. And so I had lost about 30-40 pounds when I started at Orange Theory before they opened, between the pre-op diet phase and then to that point post-op. So I've lost between 80 and 90 pounds since joining Orange Theory and gained tons of muscle. Yeah. I feel good in my skin. Like, it's just been the best thing. I'm still obsessed. I've taken over 500 Orange Theory classes.
Yes. Just recently, right?
Yeah, I hit my 500 because you can take them anywhere. So I've taken them in Hawaii. I've taken them in Arizona and Chicago. Like, everywhere I go, I look for. Wow. I actually was going to go. We went to Australia, and there was one like 2 miles away. But I didn't have service, so I didn't have like a map to get me there, or I could get an Uber there from my hotel because I had Wi-Fi, but I was afraid I couldn't get back like with Uber, so I wanted to go, but I didn't. But I'm obsessed with it. I'm actually like studying to take my personal training certification, and I may end up coaching. Where this was going. Yeah, next, I may end up like subbing coaching or just part-time coaching there, just to do it. Just because I love it so much. So it's the best.
So here's like the message I get from that whole thing is you never know if you like something until you try it.
Yep.
So like all the, when these opportunities come up and we just say, oh, I probably won't like that. Like that really could be the thing that like is your drive for the next level of your life.
Yeah.
But if we're so quick to say no, and I'll admit I was always a no. Like my best friend's on here, she'll probably agree that I was like quick to say no to things. And then about the time like I met Lindsay and I heard about like her story and all and how successful she was, that's when I really started saying yes to things in my life. And then this past year became my year of yes, and now I say yes about everything. Within reason.
Yeah, right.
But really saying yes to things and what really transforms your life. It's not the things that we refuse sometimes, it's the things that we accept and that we open our minds to.
You never know what's going to come from anything. You never know. Like,
would you have thought, like, in 2015 you were going to, like, think about being a trainer?
No, like, not at all. But, my background in nursing helps so much with this training. I know the anatomy. I know how the muscles and the bone. Like, the hardest part of the training certification is learning all that stuff, and that stuff I already know, right? So that it's definitely an advantage. But yeah, I started as a power walker. I power walked 3 miles an hour at a 3% incline my first class, and now my base pace running speed is at 7 miles an hour.
And she's run how many marathons?
I've run four full and 14 halves officially, but like training for marathons, right? We train up to 20 miles, 1 to 2 times per training cycle. So I've done more than half marathons in the process of training for marathons. But last fall I did 2 full marathons within 3 weeks. I did the Columbus Marathon where I PR'd in a time of 4:49, 4 hours and 49 minutes.
Somebody out there knows what that means.
Yeah. And then I ran the New York City Marathon on the Team HDSA, I had a $3,500 commitment. I raised just over that and got to run in my dad's memory with the team in New York, one of the 6 world major marathons. It was amazing. So now that's a life goal I have, is to run all the world's major marathons. So I'm running the Chicago in just a few weeks. That's number 2 of 6 that's on the world majors list. So that's like long-term goal.
I met you as a little nurse, little chubby little redhead nurse with short hair in the ICU.
Hey.
So let's talk about this business.
Yes.
So when I came back around and saw Lindsay, I don't remember how I ended up seeing you, and I was hearing about her retiring. I think it was on Instagram actually, and she was retiring from nursing, and she was starting this company called LuLaRoe, and I was like, what is this LuLaRoe? And so I could try the clothes on. I loved them. And then next thing I know, Lindsay has me convinced I can sell these clothes. Like, I'm like, I don't say yes to stuff like that for that amount of money. But she had that fire in me and made me believe that I could do it. And I actually could.
Yeah.
And I actually loved it. Like, I loved doing it. I loved the interaction with it. But like, where you've taken this is... we're going to go on a tour very shortly.
Yeah.
Very shortly.
It's crazy to think that, I started this business a little over 3 years ago in a 2-bedroom apartment with 6 racks of clothes.
Yes. That's so impressive.
Keep that in mind when she takes you on the tour of what my room looks like now, what we've grown into from this. So.
And that's where you built your side hustle into your own empire.
Yes.
In a 2-bedroom apartment.
A 2-bedroom apartment with a full-time job that I rotated.
With a full-time job. With how many racks in the 2-bedroom apartment?
6.
6 racks.
I worked 3 weeks of days, 3 weeks of nights, every third weekend, full-time as a nurse in a critical care environment. And no, I didn't have kids, but I had all these other commitments. I was on these boards. I did charity stuff. So it wasn't like I was just sitting home on my days off, twiddling my thumbs, eating ho-hos.
No, but still, even there's some people who don't have kids and go to their 9 to 5 or whatever and say, oh, I don't have time to work out and I don't have time. You have totally dispelled all those myths about people who say, I'm just waving to people who come in, people who say, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't have, I just can't do that, I don't have,
I didn't have the money either.
You totally dispelled all of those myths. And that's why when you came to me and then when I talked to you and we talked about it and I was like very impressed with everything you were doing, that's what made me sign up. Because on a normal basis, I would not have that kind of money.
Yep.
But like when you were telling me what you were doing and how amazing it was. So you see where do you think this will all go? Do you have any idea?
I don't know because, and I wish, I won't even speculate because I wouldn't even have guessed it would be this, right? So I mean I started with 300 pieces and I have a little over 4,000 pieces of inventory in this room right now.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. I used the last $5,000 on my credit card to my name that I was even allotted. Like I maxed it out and I was like, okay, like this has to work. I don't have an option. This has to work. And I think just going in with that mentality, you're like, okay, like this has to work. So it did. I mean,
and you guys hustled. Like you guys didn't sit home
for the first 18 months, I worked full time and built this up.
So do you ever miss nursing?
I love being a nurse. I think I will always be a nurse. I think once you're a nurse or some kind of a caring profession, that's just part of who you are.
True.
And I think just growing up that way, I was always a nurse, whether I had the RN behind my name or not. I just think that was part of who I was. I don't miss the hospital. I don't miss the politics of healthcare.
Yes.
I don't miss
yes.
I don't miss my weekends. I don't miss my time away from my family. Time is precious. Time is money. Time is a lot of things. I mean, the last holidays before my dad died, I worked. Wasn't assigned to work Thanksgiving Day, and I was like, great, I'm gonna go see my family for Thanksgiving. But because I was low man on the totem pole, Thanksgiving night shift, 11 p.m. was not the holiday anymore, and that's where I got assigned. So I still had to come into work. I still had to leave. I saw him for about 20 minutes. The last holiday I had with him, and I won't miss that again.
No.
And I worked for 21 hours on the 4th of July, and went in. The next day I went to work and I gave a 3-week notice because I don't quit jobs, but I felt so bad that I was leaving. I said, for once in my life, I have to say that I realize I'm important and I can't do this.
Talk about self-care. Like I was like, that is the ultimate form of self-care. To recognize what you need and to give it to yourself.
And it wasn't until I had surgery that I ever thought about that.
Wow.
Because I have to think about eating, drinking. I can't do them at the same time. I have to move my body. I have to sleep. Like I was stuck in an operating room for 21 hours where I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, I couldn't pee. One nice other nurse who I'd befriended came and said, can I come in for 20 minutes and let you step out and but I had to pick. I had to pick between eating and drinking that day, and literally that was my only opportunity. And I said, if my surgeon worked at the same hospital, I said if he knew that was what I had to do right now, he wouldn't be happy. And if it's literally between because if I get behind in fluids, if I get behind in protein, I can't catch up. I can't just go chug a bottle of water. My tummy is this big. It just doesn't fit. So I can't catch up. And so that was when I had to say, I cannot do this. And so that was, and I actually came home. I clocked in at 6:45 in the morning. I clocked out at 3:45 in the morning. I came home the next morning when they called me about a charge at 9:30. So I was awake, and Kyle asked me for my planner, my big old planner, and he took my pen and he wrote Lindsay's last day of work. And so we decided.
Wow. So that's having a good man that looks out for you.
Yeah, he was so worried. Yeah, he was so worried. He said, "Can I bring you something?" He was texting me, "Can I bring you something?" And I said, "You have to have a badge to get back where we are. You can't even get back here. So thank you. I appreciate that, but you can't." I mean, nobody checked on me, so I had to check on myself, and that was what I had to do.
And you know what? And it's good that you had Kyle, because we as women, whether you're a mom, woman, I think it's just in our women genes to take care of everybody and everything. Yeah. And that's really, this platform for me is an opportunity to get women away from that mindset and start really taking care of ourselves. Yep. And from head to toe, mind, body, soul, everything. And you, as a mature, not even 30-year-old, was able to make that.
And that was hard. It was really hard because I'd never thought that way before. And I felt like I shouldn't feel that way, right? I think we all feel that way.
We all do that.
I was nervous to feel that way. Is that selfish of me? You know, what can I do? But I said, why did you have this? Why did you have this surgery? Why did you change your life forever? And I said, because I want to be healthy. I want to be a mom one day. And I can't do that at 274 pounds. How many people do we know struggle with infertility? And the number one thing they say to them is, it's to do with your weight. It's not always to do with your weight, but that's a lot of reasons why. I have a lot of friends that have gone through that, and their doctor said, okay, if you can lose 30 pounds, you'll have a better chance. If you can do this, you'll have a better chance. And I never wanted to be faced with that position. So, you know, it's for me now, but it's for the future too. Right. I mean, it's not just right now.
But everything we do really is for the future. We're not doing anything for the past, because the past is gone.
Yep.
We're not doing anything for right now, because it's going to be gone as soon as we walk away from it. We're doing everything so that the next moment in our lives will be the best moment it can be, whether it be a happy, you know, whether we be fulfilled, whether we, you know, do some exercise class, or whatever that goal is, it's for the next moment. So I'm going to pull the phone off of the stand real quick.
Yes.
And we're going to take a walk around this room. So give us a little transition time.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let's walk around.
Oh.
It just kind of squeezes.
Squeeze it. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
So there we are. We're going to split this around here.
This is my ship level, guys. My Joanna.
Okay. So, oh my gosh. So this is Lindsay. Oh, I hadn't even seen this before. That's really cute.
New dresses.
So actually, I'm trying to think what's the best way to show like the whole thing. So I guess we're just going to go around the room. So let's go into her fitting rooms. This is in her house, y'all.
This is my basement.
She has these amazing fitting rooms in her basement. I mean, just like a real store.
You see the mats?
Oh, I do love the mats.
They're like really pretty.
These
that
cute
way,
mats.
Everyone who walks in my room knows that.
And I'm going to look at, there's Lindsay. And so we're going to walk around. Look at these cute chairs in here with pillows. So I'm going to walk slow because it's so big. This is truly like a store. It's like a regular, I've seen some stores that are smaller than this. Oh, look at the little books up there.
All of those things that my customers have given me. And my niece drew that for me. These are all things people have gifted to me along the way.
So this is her whole boutique. She started with 300 pieces. She now has over 4,000 pieces.
And I own it.
And it's all hers. It's her and her husband have built this. We're still going. It's crazy. It is crazy. She actually just recently remodeled, right?
Yep.
She just recently remodeled. Oh my gosh. So we're still going.
Yeah. Where these double racks are, this is where the wall used to be, and that used to be the doorway back to the unfinished space.
I remember.
Yeah.
Those are all her leggings. And welcome back to the Lulu room. So
I think my favorite part of this room is that
I'll show it
picture
from
at
this.
the end of the stairwell. Did you see that when you came down?
No, Penny was trying to accost me.
That's kind of my mantra. That's kind of what I live by, and that was the first thing I put on the wall.
We wanted to do something this season that was filled with light for us all. It turns out the easiest way to start is just saying we love you and we're glad you're here. Aww.
So that's what every guest sees when they come down to my room.
This is so awesome. I'm so proud of her. 30 years old, you guys, and has built her own her own, what do you call this? I want to say
my legacy. I mean,
a legacy.
This is what I leave. This is I have an employee. I have an assistant.
She's got
who
it.
helps me.
All right, good.
And we'll come back. We'll come back.
So, I got this all sooner. We were so good. There we go. So we were talking about feeding your soul right before we came on. We almost didn't make 7 o'clock. I had to keep looking at my watch. So what's feeding your soul? And I always ask that question, like, what are you reading? What are you listening to?
Oh, well.
We've already talked about it. So we've already exchanged some information.
Yeah. So I work from home, but I don't have a TV down here. I don't watch a lot of TV. So I will start with my guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure is watching live PD on the weekends, where I get to see people that make really bad decisions for the entertainment of it's like cops. It's like live cops. And that's like my guilty pleasure. However, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do. Both of my grandmothers were librarians, so I grew up as a reader. So I do love to read. I don't make as much time as I should. Again, not that I don't have time. I don't make as much time as I should to read. I always try to read a book for fun and then a personal development something, a kind of back and forth it. So I just read Girl Wash Your Face, like all of the women in America.
Oh yeah,
I just read that.
Yeah, if you haven't read that
you need to.
You have to read.
And you got to follow Rachel Hollis on all her social media platforms.
I followed her though. I should have followed her.
Oh my God, she's my hero every single day.
I'm following
her. I love her. She replied to my Instagram story about her yesterday. And thanks, girl. She left now. We watch out for each other, right?
Yeah, we have to.
So I read that, and then I'm currently actually just started a devotional called 100 Days to Brave, which I'm not like the most overly religious person. You know, we don't go to church. I mean, I believe, but we don't spend a lot of time on that. So I was like, you know what? That's something in my life that I have been missing for a long time, and it's something I'm ready to kind of explore. When I lost my dad, I kind of lost how I felt about my faith, and like, we didn't get married in a church. I grew up going to church, but it was because I felt like I was forced to, not because I ever wanted to be there. So I kind of feel like I'm coming into the season of my life where I'm kind of, okay, I'm listening, right? I'm ready. I'm listening. So I just started my first devotional book, 100 Days to Brave. I just read.
Do you know who that's by?
I don't remember. It's super popular. It's like in every Target.
Okay.
If you walk into a Target, you'll see it.
100
Days to Brave. Been listening to a lot of podcasts, so like when I run by myself, I listen to podcasts.
A lot of us do too.
So Rachel Hollis has a podcast. She has one about business, but she also has one with her husband. It's called Rise.
Okay.
I was listening to a podcast recently from a group called Screw the 9 to 5. So it's about entrepreneurs and business mindset and how to grow, and they have a lot of things. And the guy is Australian, so I love his accent.
Okay,
so I'll listen
Screw
to that.
the 9 to 5 and Rachel Hollis. And
then I also really love Jenna Kutcher, who she's 28, and she has built a multi-million-dollar empire.
I was hearing about her recently. Okay.
Gold Digger podcast Gold Digger podcast by Jenna Kutcher is another one of my favorites. And then what else? I also kind of there's a girl I follow on Instagram. She's really happy all the time. Her name is Christy, and I love her. And she has a podcast with her friend. They're called the Positively Blonde Podcast, and it's all about being positive. And so
I totally need to catch that one.
I love that. They're kind of silly. They both live in California. She works for MAD, like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and she speaks at stuff. And then the other half of the Positively Blonde podcast, she's a realtor. So they're both blonde, and they live in California, and they're just really happy. They both have incredible stories of reasons they should not be the most positive people. They both were divorced and remarried before 30. They both came out of traumatic relationships, abusive, traumatic, just really interesting. So they come from interesting places. So they're both really fun.
Cool.
What else am I the last non-personal development book I read was called Girls in the Garden, another Target pick. I try to just my stack on my bookshelf on my bed is this tall, no kidding. I can't pick. I have 2 full bookshelves upstairs. I love to read. I just need to make more time for it. I'm a fast reader. I was an early reader, but but I've been traveling a lot, so I've been able to read on planes, which has been nice, and knock some stuff out. But yeah, I read Girl Wash Your Face in 2 hours sitting on the couch one day.
That was a really
2
good
hours, easy read. So girls.
And I bookmarked, go wash your face.
And I bookmarked it. I earmarked stuff in it because there's all these different chapters.
I need to actually get that because I listened to it. I listened to the book on tape, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good. But
I'm
I need to
around the
go
neighborhood.
buy the book. I might go buy that
buy
before
it.
I leave on vacation.
Buy it because I earmarked a lot of things because every chapter is a lie you tell yourself.
That's why I like
paper.
That's why
I love a paper book. I have a Kindle, but I love a book. I think growing up with librarians, I love a book. I love the smell of a book. I love the feel of a book. The pages.
Yes.
I love it all. So, but I earmark stuff that is like stuff I maybe haven't come to yet. So there's a lot about kids.
I'm stopping at Target and picking that up. By the way.
Like I don't have kids, so I can't. That's gonna be. I loved what she said about it, but it's just not where I'm at in my life yet. So that's something I want to look back to at some point. So the book's getting passed around the neighborhood. The neighbor on this side read it. The neighbor over here is reading it. The neighbor over here wants it next.
You guys need to have a book club.
Yeah, basically, I do. I want to start a book club, but I don't.
She probably will. She probably will.
I love it. I get so many good recommendations, but.
So where can people follow you, find out about your shop you?
Yeah, so on Facebook you can find my shopping boutique. Just look up LuLaRoe, Lindsay Morrison's online boutique. That is my shopping group. I post albums every other week. I do live sales. We just finished up our Donors Choose campaign for the month of July and August. So if you've never heard of Donors Choose, it's open to public school teachers all over the country to request funding for projects. So we were able to complete the funding. So you can also search by specific schools or specific projects. But they also have them listed as most urgent. So ones that are finishing really soon and just need some extra dollars, or the ones that have never been funded before, or more than X amount of students come from low income housing, or so many of them receive free lunches or things like that. Like those that are in the most true need, they list as most urgent. So we were able in the month from July the 8th until last night was our final donation for it. We were able to donate back 5% of our profits plus a catwalk for the kids fashion show that we put on. We donated over $2,700 and completed over 27 projects for the Donors Choose. So we wrapped that up.
Philanthropist.
So we do all kinds of stuff. We do giveaways. We do live sales. I make outfits. We do capsules. We do all the things. So LuLaRoe Lindsay Morrison Online Boutique on Facebook, at Trainee Lindsay on Instagram. I mean, I'm kind of all over the place. If you Google my name, you'll see pictures of me like randomly. Like I'm like, where did that come from? Like, who put that picture of me on the internet?
Yeah,
Google. If you've never Googled yourself,
I don't want to.
I don't
want to. I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid.
It's
you
so
guys.
crazy.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to have time for questions. I know. Does anyone have any questions? I know we're kind of far away, so I'm gonna scroll up here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm an open book.
100 Days to Brave. Yes.
100 Days to
Brave.
Yes. I can I'll look that up right now while I'm sitting here.
By Annie F. Dowd.
Yes, correct. Annie F. Dowd.
Okay, I might have to get that one too.
It's literally one spread page per day, like for 100 days.
Oh, seriously?
It's really short and sweet and easy.
Mm-hmm. See, any of us can handle that. If you don't have time, do it before you go to bed. Do it on your lunch break.
And it's a devotional, but it's all about unlocking your brave. Like, we are all braver than we think. And I think when you have confidence, or bravery, it leads to confidence, or vice versa. Confidence can lead to bravery, and you can do so much.
See why I'm drawn to her? You see? I'm not going to bring you guys no crap. I'm telling you that much. Like, I want you to be inspired, to be, like, the best version of yourself. And every time I even think about it, like, I just get, like, all teared up inside because it means so much to me to see someone like Lindsay, who is so young, who gets it, and if the thing she doesn't get, she's trying to get, and she's working on getting it. So all of us women have no excuse. There's too many resources and too many supports. So I want to be one of those people that can provide you with support and encouragement, and bring you women like Lindsay and Jans and Andrian and Heidi, who bring that into the world too. There's so many of us out there. I'm gonna see if we have any more questions here.
I've heard it, and the thing I've heard that I think is, find your girl gang. Like, I didn't grow up here. I'm not from here. I knew no one here outside of my job. So I grew this business without knowing anybody. And the more people I've met, the more friends that I've made. And it's true that you are the sum of those 5 people you surround yourself with.
True.
I've heard that time and time
Look at the people
again.
you contact the most.
Yeah,
those
really.
are the 5 people that
and I'm
make
like,
up you.
Oh,
my list is small.
Right. But it's true, you know. The 5 people, most recent contact people. My neighbor next door, teacher, coach, wife, helpful, caring person. Another person across the street, has a special needs son, so she's an advocate and a voice for him, and this and that. And like the people that I surround myself with, I find myself picking up those. I mean, I'm not perfect, you guys. I don't want you to think that by any means. Right? Everyone has their flaws.
We're all finding ourselves.
But you can become better.
This made me think of a book that I just finished listening to. I listen to a lot just because I'm always moving. Yeah. It's called A Tribe Called Bliss.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Lori Harder. I love her. She has a podcast also. Teaches very motivational, very positive, but it's all about finding your tribe or your multiple tribes. Like your tribes in different areas of your life, but that's what it's all about. It's a really easy, I listened to it, but it was like a very good, but it's more of an interactive one. So it's like things at the end of each chapter that you have to go find your tribe and do. So I need to get like, I listen to so many books because I haven't had a chance to grab a lot of them, but that's a good one that I would like to grab and actually do some of those activities. So think about that.
Do it.
Well, guys, this has been so good.
So fun.
So good. So follow Lindsay on Training Lindsay on Instagram. You can shop. If you go to her Train Lindsay, there's a link for Lula with Lindsay that'll take you to her Facebook.
LulaWithLindsay.com.
LulaWithLindsay.com. Click that. You can get into her shop. You can catch her live. You can catch her. She has the albums in there you can shop from every 2 weeks. So many cute pieces. I used to sell it. Now I kind of miss it because I miss having a boutique in my house. I can go down and get new clothes every morning.
Right?
Thank you
Thank you for having me. This is amazing. I'm so proud of you for doing this because this is needed, y'all. Like, I'm only one woman and I can sell you clothes, but I can't put it all together and share it with the world like this one can. So thank you for having me.
I'm trying to. My little world. My little world get bigger, but that's okay.
Thank
and
you guys.
Check out The Sweet Life on Instagram. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go home and get ready for vacation because I'm about to go on vacation.
Oh, go girl. So awesome.
I need it.
Awesome.
You guys have a great rest of the day.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.